Hello and welcome to this week's Rotherham Advertisers SportsChat Podcast. Joining me around the table is Miller's correspondent David Beddows and news editor Michael Upton.
Hello.
Gentlemen, we talk about another defeat for Rotherham United on the road, this time away at promotion-chasing Burnley. 2-0 was the scoreline, Dave. Burnley, a very good team, of course, and points picked up here would have been classed as bonus points, I presume.
Yeah, they would. I mean, this is another strong case of deja vu, isn't it? We see it so many times. Miller's looking compact, hard working. They gave the manager the role, but I mean, we ought to laid glove on Burnley. To be fair, the first shot on target came on 70 minutes. But then, of course, if you stay in a game long enough, you'll get a chance. And we got it through Joe Newell, and he just he stabbed it wide. Didn't even ask the keeper to make a save. So, you know, what could have been 1-1 then became 2-0. Burnley scored at the end.
Michael, we seem to be saying every week that Rotherham are compact, they're full of work and energy, and they're industrious and things like this. Is the issue that there's just not enough quality on the ball in that team?
Well, it's funny, as you were asking that question, the word that popped into my head was quality. I think it's easy to work hard, it's quite another to carve out really good opportunities. And the difference between the two sides was stark, wasn't it? That, as Dave says, you've been kind to say that first shot on target came out when it did, because it was a very comfortable save, wasn't it, from Broadfoot's header. But there is some quality on that side. But if Joe Newell had stuck that ball in the back of the net, it would have been a brilliant goal, because let's not underrate that amazing first touch. But then Burnley are a Premier League side of a year ago. They've got a massive budget. They should be expected to be battering teams like Rotherham. What's disappointing is that you stay in the game, you scrap, you work hard, and that's a game they could have got a point out of and been very pleased with. Instead of which is a bit of a hard luck story again, isn't it?
Well, that just highlights the point perfectly. Neil Warnock said after the Birmingham game that he felt they could have won that and they picked up a point. Might feel they could have got a point from the Burnley game had the Joe Newell effort gone in. So we're looking at no point when realistically it could have been 3 or 4.
Well, there were shades of Middlesbrough here back in November on a mucky Tuesday night when Rotherham hung in at 1-0, and then Jordan Bower is present with a clear run to goal, 5 minutes left, hit the side netting. So with Joe's chance on Saturday, Jordan's there, that's 2 points, 2 possible points gone there, but we can dissect the season forever, can't we?
But them 2 points could make all the difference.
They could.
Rotherham, 5 points from safety. They've got 2 points from the last 18 available, which isn't good enough form, especially in the situation that they're in. And now Bolton and Charlton, of course, the two teams that were getting cut off, especially Bolton earlier in the season, now just 1 point behind Rotherham United. Dave, is it panic stations?
It's not exactly panic, but we are averaging less than a point a game, and that's only going to lead to one thing, isn't it? In May, we're looking forward to these back-to-back games against MK Dons and Bristol, aren't we? That are coming up. But Rotherham have got to make sure that by April they're still in touch. That's the thing, and ideally it wants to be less than 5 points.
Well, that's the problem, isn't it, Michael? Rotherham are in danger of being overtaken by Bolton and Charlton first. Two teams where they failed to pick up points earlier in the season when they were expected to, and then they could be dead and buried by April when they play MK and Bristol.
It's not just the case really trying to overhaul MK now, is it? Because you want to be at the front of the 3 teams at the bottom who are scrapping for that spot. You could get
it's almost a 14 mini league.
You could get ahead of MK and find that Bolton or Charlton run some kind of form as they seem to be doing and overtake you. It's just unfortunate that Bristol City have really peaked at the right time, haven't they? You don't want to be peaking in March or April. You want to be getting a run together this time, so you don't have to worry about it quite so much. And the gap between the bottom 4 and the ones above them is starting to look a bit worrying.
Dave, do you think it's a 14 mini league down there now? The odds of staying out of that aren't great, are they?
No, they're not. I mean, it is shaping up that way, but there's a clutch of teams above, like Fulham and Blackburn, who aren't exactly presenting a convincing case either. If you can win 1, win 2, you're suddenly putting a bit of pressure on them. I mean, 14 games is, my maths, let me get my maths right, it's about 32 points still to play for, but time's dripping away, isn't it?
The worrying thing for me is that while there was effort, hard work and commitment against Birmingham, and there was the same again on Saturday, you expect a bit of a bounce with a new manager, and we've not seen that. Some fans will quite reasonably be asking the question, why did we swap one Neil for another Neil if the new Neil hasn't managed to get any more points?
Yeah, and it is hard to see the join, but it's hard to see the join really going right back to the early stages of the season under Steve Evans. It's just there's a different voice in the dressing room now who's trying to keep them positive, and let's just hope it works.
Let's have a look at three signings made in a relatively short period of time last week. Jerome Thomas came in, former Arsenal, West Brom man, flying winger. He was on the bench on Saturday, didn't get on the pitch. Paddy Kenny, of course, the fifth time that Neil Warnock has signed him. A bit of a love affair going on there between those two. He's coming in as backup goalkeeper and was on the bench on Saturday. And Lloyd Doyley, the only man to make his debut, played centre-half and gave away a penalty. If you flick to page 2 of the match, you'll be able to see a video interview with Lloyd. How did he do? How did he do the experience campaign? A versatile, playing away across the back four, played centre-half.
I mean, he's had plenty of trials at different clubs since he left Watford last summer. I mean, this was his first game in quite a long while. I thought he did okay. He settled all right after giving the pen away. Boyd was just a bit too quick for him, and he tagged him, didn't he, on the end of the area. But I thought he settled okay. The other two, Jerome Thomas didn't get on, of course, and we've got Paddy Kenny in the ranks now. I mean, if Lee Camp ever does get injured, you're going to look for an experienced keeper, and it's going to save rushing around for one. Should the worst happen, I just hope Camp doesn't get injured, because he's a busy keeper and he's a good keeper.
Michael, at 37 years of age and possibly not match fit, Paddy Kenny, Neil Warnock said on Friday when I spoke to him that he'd be happy to throw him in straight away if Lee Camp got injured. How do you see that one? Is he ready for Championship rigours?
Well, unfortunately, it might sound a bit harsh, but the Neil Warnock reign is taking on elements of a reality TV show. Bringing in a player who hasn't played for 9 months, who's a bit of an interesting character anyway, is an interesting decision. But I think you've got to take seriously that you're playing Championship football here, and players who come in need to be of that standard. Neil Warnock has gone back to one of his old favourites, and he'll want some kind of support. But I can't help thinking that he's been brought into his team spirit rather than actually his potential for getting on the field. I wonder what Dave thought of Greg Holford as a new signing. As we said last week, he might be a new signing. He's played a couple of games for Neil Warnock now. How do you think he's settling in?
I think he did all right. I mean, he came in at right back, which meant Richardson stretched over.
And it's interesting as well, isn't it, Dave, that right back is where he played at the start of the season and got lambasted by the fans for a few dodgy performances.
Well, true. I mean, he's a big figure, isn't he, at right back? He's a big figure. He got a big club foot behind some clearances. So I thought he was fairly solid. That was his first start in 5 months. And he told me last week he perhaps weren't quite 90 minutes fit yet. I don't think he's bad at all.
He's not. He's had a bit of a haircut, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has.
Getting rid of the top knot, I think we'll probably win a few fans over. Speaking of Lloyd Doyley, he seems to be another of this series of Rotherham players this season having a disastrous debut. You think about Luke Himes' own goal, and Greg Holford smashing Tom Thorpe in the face on opening day with that back pass. It just seems a bit cursed to me. You don't want to be a debut.
Yeah, Jerome Thomas and Paddy Kenny stay on the bench.
Speaking of Doyley, that penalty incident was so bizarre, because I don't know if you saw the interview on the Football League show, or whatever they call it on Channel 5 now, where Warnock was saying that the referee guessed, he just happened to get lucky with the right decision. I think he's got a point. The referee is a long way away, and you have to say, yes, it was a foul, yes, it was a penalty, but if the referee's 40 yards away, should he be giving a foul there? Probably
not. I mean, Rotherham didn't get much of the ref. He was a homer, this referee. Definitely sided with Burnley more than Rotherham. But you got Joey Barton in the Burnley ranks who shows some sublime touches. Andre Gray is an handful. There's probably no better striker in this division. And the quality gap was there to see.
You have to say Burnley made the best chances and deserved to win the match. But it doesn't matter who deserves to win the match. If those little decisions at the right time of the game go in your favour, then it's going to go in to you when you're going to win potentially. But Rotherham's problem remains. They don't make enough chances, so when the golden chances come and they don't take them, they lose the match. That's happened so many times in the last few weeks. You think about the overhead kicks we've been talking about. If you don't take your chances, you don't win the games, and the goals you can see at the other end is what send you down.
Right, gentlemen, let's have a look forward then. Tomorrow night, Tuesday night, away at Reading, Dave. No easy fixtures coming up, is there? That's quickly followed by a home tie against Brentford at home. Realistically, what can Rotherham expect from these two games?
Well, without going on last season's performance at Reading, I don't think they were any poorer. Rotherham lost 3-0 on a Tuesday night. It was a bit flat. Maybe this Reading Cup win might just help us a little bit. Might be a bit of hangover there. Reading might be just off the ball a bit. Maybe that's something the Millers can capitalise on. Brentford at home on Saturday. it's as near as we get, isn't it, to one you're thinking we could get 3 points from this, although Brentford are no slouches, so I think we need to look for 4 points if possible.
Michael?
I thought it was interesting that Man City put the kids out to play Chelsea yesterday, and there was no sign of Reading doing that with an important league game coming up when they play West Brom at the weekend. Again, their tails will be up, they'll be very giddy after the weekend, but maybe they'll be a bit distracted by their cup glories. They might have had a few sherbets on Saturday night to celebrate, and
Clutching at straws by any chance, looking for advantages?
possibly, but I mean, it's the whole thing about every game's a cup final. They can't think of it that way. They're just going to think of it as another league game, another team put in front of them, and to take that one on its merits. Reading have their weaknesses; they concede goals as well, and the same to be said for Brentford. I mean, you don't want to pin all your hopes on that Brentford game, but a couple of positive results in these two games, we could be a lot more optimistic. A couple more games with no goals, a couple more defeats, and we're going to be talking doom and gloom and wondering why they made the change or whether the squad just hasn't been good enough all season.
Right, gentlemen, I'll thank you there very, very much for your time, and thank you at home for listening too. Remember to sign up for the match for free in your inbox every Monday. Also, to pick up your Rotherham Advertiser on Friday morning. All the reaction from this week's two games, the Reading game will be in there also, and the previews looking forward to Brentford on Saturday. Once again, thank you for your time and thank you for listening.